Kingdom Hall.
Hi, I just have a question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
I can try.
Okay, do you have a minute?
I do, yes.
Okay, well, I was looking up and I wanted to see if they said anything on the website about Harold Camping. Do you know who that was in 2011?
It sounds for the name sounds familiar, but
he had advertised all around the world. He had on the radio and in billboards and things that the world would end in 2011.
Oh, okay.
And they take a very negative view of him. They call him a doomsday prophet, and his prophecies rang hollow, and things like that. They have one article that even talks about other predictions of the world's end in the Awake magazine. And it speaks very negatively of those people who did that. But then when, I noticed in their history book, Proclaimers, when they're talking about their guy, Brother Rutherford is his name, and his predictions, they called it an exciting message. So, I mean, why the why is his false predictions an exciting message?
I guess I'm not understanding your question.
Oh, okay. When they talk about other people who made false predictions about the end, they kind of call them names, like a doomsday prophet, and his prophecies rang hollow. And why didn't they know?
There's a double standard.
Oh, exactly. They said Jesus said no one knows the day or the hour.
Yeah, not even the Father.
Yeah, because the Watchtower is the most famous doomsday predictor. I mean, when you look at the history, I find it really weird. And then when they're talking about Rutherford, they call it an exciting message that he was teaching. He was teaching that the ancient worthies from Hebrews 11 were going to be resurrected into San Diego, California in 1925. That was an exciting message. That's how you look at it. That's how they look at it. I don't know.
I guess I'm not understanding if you have a question or.
How do you cope with that? Them calling Harold Camping a false prophet, pretty much, but every time they did it, it's an exciting message.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't sound to me like you have a question. You're trying to. I guess I don't understand your purpose.
What would you say to that? It's so surprising to me.
Oh, who are you calling with?
I'm just here by myself. I'm not with anybody. What do you mean?
Okay. Oh, no, it sounds like you have an agenda, I guess.
Really? I think that's a fair enough question, because they call themselves God's only channel.
No, I understand what you're saying there, but is the... I guess I'm just a little puzzled. I mean, there's no question that there's been individuals that make claims and statements and are wrong, and obviously they're wrong.
Right, and like your history, like the Watchtower, many times.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it'll likely continue. We're imperfect.
Well, let me tell you that during the 1920s, when Rutherford was teaching all of that, they said in the Watchtower that this chronology is not of man, but of God, and of divine origin, and absolutely divine origin means you're claiming inspiration. It means God told you this.
Right.
Yeah. So don't use the imperfect thing. Doesn't really answer that question. Does it?
Well, I don't understand your question. I mean, I guess I don't. I mean, this doesn't sound like a question to me. This sounds like like you're trying to dissuade my faith.
My question is, how do you deal with that in your mind? Like, why do they have such a double standard? Why do they claim?
But we're not infallible. We realize that.
What does it mean when I say something I'm teaching is of divine origin, not of man? What does it mean?
Well,
what am I claiming?
The right one to ask would be Rutherford, I guess. But obviously we can't. But
they continue to make inspiration claims. Also, they said that on the broadcast.
So if I understand what you're calling me for, is to argue.
No, I just really want to know, how do you reconcile that? Because witnesses told me to go on the website, so I'm examining the website. This is all from your website. So I think it's fair enough to ask.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what are you trying? What's your end goal? I mean, man that even if I, as a matter of fact, here's a fact. If I told you something, if I told you to go to the gas station, fill up your car with gas, and tell them Jeff said it's okay, just drive off, I don't have the authority to say that. So it's up to you to research, and it doesn't matter what I say or believe if it's incorrect. Right?
I can't follow your chain of the gas station. I'm kind of like, what?
If someone says something that they don't have the authority to say, they could be in the wrong. But servants of God have made mistakes for years.
They've given false prophecies? Like who?
Like who?
Yeah.
I don't know, but Brother Rutherford wasn't a prophet.
What I just said, well, actually, they did use the word prophet at that time, too. I can find you where it says that. But they called themselves Only Channel. And again, he said the chronology was not of man, but of God and of divine origin. That's exactly what a prophet is. And even in the broadcast, they said the direction comes from Jehovah to Jesus to the slave, and that means
isn't that what
that
the Bible tells us? Isn't that what the Bible tells us?
No, it doesn't. In the case of
that there'll be a faithful, discreet slave that'll provide the proper food at the proper time.
Yeah, it's certainly not them, because there's no faithfulness or discreetness, and really, no one has ever interpreted that as meaning someone to grab onto that to give themselves some kind of incredible authority. You know, Deuteronomy 18:20-22 says you can test if someone really speaks for God. So that's Jehovah's arrangement.
And in the case of the First Testament and the Israelites, they did test who was God, didn't they? Remember Korah, Dathan, and Abiram?
Yeah.
They challenged Moses. What happened?
Yeah, they were destroyed.
So
are you saying the watchtowers like that, like Moses?
No, I'm saying that in the end, it's up to God. It's up to God to decide.
No, no. We're supposed to test all things. The New Testament says that too.
I agree, but
yeah.
But I guess so. What are you purporting? What is your solution? I mean, what is your solution?
First, I was asking you, which you haven't answered yet. I was asking you, how do you reconcile that? How do you deal with that? Them saying their chronology is of divine origin and from God.
I feel that we work very hard to see what the scriptures say, and I also know that there's times when we misunderstand and make statements that aren't true.
Then it's not from God. Then it's not from God, and they're not the only channel. Like Jeffrey Jackson said, he said that under oath. It would be presumptuous. Did you watch that?
Ma'am, you're not calling to ask a question.
I did, and you can't answer. Like, why do you trust them so much?
What should I do?
Again, you're asking a question, and you still haven't answered. You haven't answered my question.
I told you how I feel. I'm not concerned about it.
Okay, you're not concerned. You trust them no matter what they say. They continue to do that. You believe the information comes from Jehovah to Jesus to them, even though they've been wrong so many times. They've made hurtful things to people's lives that then they changed later and said it was from God, and everybody had to accept it. And then if they change it in one day, then everybody accepts it, right?
No, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you only calling the Jehovah's Witnesses, or why are you singling them out?
Oh, because I like to go where the need is great, because they're so devoid of the real gospel.
Ma'am, I can tell by what you're saying, your agenda, and people are feeding you. So
people are feeding me. All I shared was things from your own publications.
No, I know, and I would encourage you to pray to Jehovah, and you're right. It's up to Him to decide what's right or wrong. But we individually need to research for ourselves. And So.
You don't accept Jehovah's arrangement, Jehovah's test of a false prophet in Deuteronomy 18.
But you're speaking a double standard, because you are saying trust in Jehovah, don't trust in Jehovah.
I do say trust in Jehovah, but in my mind, it's not equated with the Watchtower Society. You know, like you guys say, if someone leaves the Watchtower Society, they left Jehovah. So to me, there's no organization that if I
well,
leave it.
I really don't think we're going to agree on that. So I think you should probably move on.
That's that's how they trap you, because they teach you to think that
right,
if you leave,
I'm going to dismiss you because
you have left Jehovah. They even misquote Jesus' words.
This is Jeff.
Hi, I got your number from the Kingdom Hall. I just had a quick question. I was wondering if you could help me.
Sure.
Well, I was surprised by what I was seeing in this. I got this Jehovah Witness Bible at a thrift store. It's called the New World Translation. It's green, but anyways,
yeah.
I was surprised. I like to read different Bibles, and in Hebrews 1:6. I was just surprised by this. It says, but when he again brings his firstborn into the inhabited earth, he says, and let all God's angels worship him.
I'm looking that up.
Talking about the Lord Jesus.
Hebrews 11:6.
1:6, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. What surprises you about that?
Oh, I thought you guys don't worship Jesus.
I'm sorry?
Well, I thought the Jehovah's Witnesses don't worship Jesus. So I was just surprised by seeing that.
Yeah. Well, the current one says do obeisance to him.
Oh, they changed it later. Okay.
People worship all kinds of things. We worship Jehovah. He's the Almighty, but.
Oh, so they had this in their Bible and then they just changed it?
Okay. Well, I don't think you're really interested. I think that you're trying to debate. So I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.
Okay. God bless you.
Kingdom Hall.
Hi. I was just wondering if someone could help me with a question I had.
Okay.
Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I met some Jehovah Witnesses in my neighborhood, and I just enjoyed talking to them, so I started researching more about it. And one thing it's really hard for me to understand, I was looking at historically the way the leaders describe themselves. It's so much different than just any pastor or something like that. It's more like extremely authoritative, like expressions like God's only channel and Jehovah's mouthpiece and things like that. Right? Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, is that correct? I mean, how do you guys regard them as, I mean, like what? Like.
I didn't quite get what your question was.
Oh, well, I'm just getting to it. I guess it surprised me all the expressions they use for themselves, which is so much different than like when a pastor, in just a mainstream church would never describe themselves like that, like God's only channel on earth or a Jehovah's mouthpiece and things like that. And
you talking about? Go ahead.
Yeah, I even found where they said you must obey the slave as you would the voice of God, and that seems a little extreme to me or something. I'm just used to regular mainstream churches. So, but anyways, I was wondering. I was also looking at this other guy who compiled all the changes over history, and they said all of those were from Jehovah and from God. So, but then when you look on their website and you search like Catholic changes, they say that should make you doubt the organization, doubt their authority, because if it was true, it wouldn't have changed. So it has all these stories about someone started doubting about the Pope because, at one time it was one thing and then it changed into another. But they don't seem to apply that to the Watchtower. So how do you reconcile that?
You need somebody to come by and talk with you about this?
No, I just wanted to ask a Jehovah's Witness just that one question.
Yeah. Are you talking about the changes in the organization? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, they're dates, different things, this generation, the baptism questions, Christmas birthdays, who elders are, is blood fractions okay or not okay? They change that. Is vaccinations okay with Jehovah? They used to say no. If you should worship Jesus, if literal Israel is going to rule in the world, they change that.
Yeah. Did you go on our website? See, there's many apostates out there that used to be Jehovah's Witnesses.
What does that have to do with it?
They tell lies.
Okay, which thing is a lie here that I mentioned about them changing? If you could look at just the layout of the expression this generation, I mean, they had so many different... First they said this generation, the identity of the generation was worldly people, so they taught that for about 15 years or something like that, and then they changed it to their people, the anointed people, for 23 years about. Then they changed it to bad people again, worldly people, for about 50, almost 60 years. And now they changed it to the good people again. And then they also changed the length of this generation. And as it ran out what they were saying about it, they had to change it to longer and longer.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing we know, we as Jehovah's Witness, we get enlightened on things in the Bible. Even the disciples used to ask Jesus. They thinking that he was going to restore Jerusalem at that time.
That's just asking Jesus a question. I would ask him a lot of questions if he was right in front of me. I'm talking about preaching these things all around the world in print and in talks and saying it was from Jehovah.
We'll have somebody come talk to you, but I'm not going to fuss over.
Well, what do you think about it?
All right. Thank you.
Are you bothered by Catholic changes?